In this video, I'm going to give you tips and tricks for preparing your content in Microsoft Word. I have about 15 minutes of video to show you, so I'm going to split it up into two parts. In the first part, you'll see advice on images and fonts, and in the second part, you'll see some advice on bullets and numbering. So in this part 1, let's go ahead and use the EMU invitation as our test file. We're going to upload a Microsoft Word document into Panel 3 using the Upload a File control here, and I'll show you the Word file that I've got prepared for this demonstration. Here it is. The first thing we're going to talk about is the resolution of pictures and graphics that you use. You're allowed to add in pictures and graphics from clip art or things you download from the internet or that you have in a library stored on your computer. And we want to talk about resolution here. I've got the same two photographs here of this blue arrow going up in a graph. The one on the left is low resolution and the one on the right is high resolution. So we're going to upload this into our storefront file and see how it looks. So back in the storefront, we click Upload a File, we find our file, open it, and upload it. Keep in mind that if you're using a Microsoft Word file that has high-res graphics in it or has fonts embedded, it might take a few minutes to upload, and you can see its progress on this little green progress bar down on the bottom. When the file's finished uploading, you can update the preview. And what we're looking for right now is to make sure that the resolution of our graphics and pictures is high enough. You cannot tell in this initial preview here, so you need to go to the full-size preview and check it out in Acrobat. Okay, here's the file in Acrobat, and I'm going to zoom down into this Panel 3 area right here. The trick to making sure that the resolution of your graphics is high enough is to zoom into 400% in Acrobat and look at your graphics. So here we are zoomed in on the left-hand graphic, which is the low-res one. And you can see at 400% that it looks pretty bad. It's all pixelated here along the edges. We see stair-stepping, and we could tell it's low resolution. If it looks like that, you might want to find a higher res version of the graphic or choose a different high res graphic to use because it's not going to look very good when it prints on paper. What it should look like at 400% is this high res graphic over here on the right. You can see that everything looks absolutely perfect at 400% magnification. If it looks high res like this at 400%, it would look great when it prints also. Now that we've talked about using high res graphics, we want to talk a little bit about fonts. In this example, I'm using two different fonts. The one at the top is called Cooper Standard Black, and the one at the bottom is called Myriad Pro. Let's look at this file in Microsoft Word. Here it is. You can see I'm using Cooper Standard Black at the top, and I'm using Myriad Pro at the bottom. Now in this case, both of these fonts are compatible with our storefront, and you're welcome to try out different fonts. But you want to be very careful to make sure those fonts are actually being preserved when you look at our high-res preview in the storefront, because not every font is compatible. To make sure that you are using compatible fonts, if you just want to play it safe, you should use the two fonts that are approved by Eastern Michigan University, and those are Arno Pro and Myriad Pro. So I'm going to choose to use Arno Pro down on my font list in Word here. Here it is for this top line, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, 48 point, and I'm going to make sure that I'm using Myriad Pro for this one on the bottom. So I scroll down to my M's, my MY, and here it is, Myriad Pro. Let's use that one. The next thing I want to do when I resave my document is make sure that under my Microsoft Word options, in the Save Options area, I've selected Embed Fonts in the file. So all the fonts that I'm using are going to be saved within the Microsoft Word file, and they'll be uploaded too. It doesn't guarantee that every single font will work that you might use in Word, but it does increase the chances. Now this does make your files a little bit bigger, so beware that it's going to take longer to upload your Word file because it's going to be bigger with the fonts embedded in it. So we're going to hit OK and save our file in Word. And now we're going to go back to the storefront and upload the new file using the different fonts. And now we'll update our preview. Here we see our new preview. We're using Arno Pro at the top and Myriad Pro at the bottom. Now let's talk about the fact that the text reflowed. That means that the line breaks on the right side that we had in Microsoft Word are different here on the storefront. In Microsoft Word, our top line about being invited to join the statistics club was on 2 lines vertically, but in the storefront it's all on 1 line. The reason this is happening is because we were designing on an 8.5 by 11 sheet in Microsoft Word, but this image area here on the invitation is much smaller than that. So the storefront is automatically shrinking down our 8.5 by 11 to fit in this smaller area. And since the fonts are getting shrunk down too, there's some text reflow happening. This is actually what we want though. We want to design on an 8.5 by 11 in Microsoft Word and let it resize that file to fit the storefront item or product. If we do want to force there to be a line break here at the end of the word the, we'll have to go back into Microsoft Word, go to the end of the line here, and hit enter to put in a hard carriage return. That will force this to be split over 2 lines on the storefront. Let's take a look on the storefront and update the preview. So resave the file and re-upload it to the storefront. And now update the preview. Here's our new preview, and we can see that the line is being broken at the word the with statistics club below because we've put a hard carriage return in there. So in this example, we only have 2 lines of text, 1 line of text at the top and 1 line of text at the bottom. So it's easy to control our text reflow issues because of the file being shrunk down to fit on the storefront product. That's the end of part 1 of this video. In part 2, which I encourage you to watch, we're going to talk a lot more about text reflow and using bullets, numbering, and indentation in your Microsoft Word files. So please move on to part 2 by going back to our YouTube channel and finding that video. Thanks for watching.